little early. Maybe if I am actually early more frequently, I can make up for the fact that I'm always fucking late by 2 minutes. I'm not gonna make up for the number of times that I've been late by 2 minutes. Like, ever. But hi! I did a sneaky beaky little stream last night where we worked on some art and my freaking OBS crashed and I didn't cascade fail. I didn't cascade fail. Holy shit. Thanks for the resub, Frosty. How you doing? And though I kinda already know because I was talking to you in DMs. Also hard to believe it's already been 14 months. I already know that relatively how you're doing because we're talking in DMs. Well, I already had the answer to the question, kind of. Even though I'm still going to ask it because it's part of the thing. I don't know where to start in my music today. Fuck it. We'll start here. Because I've added another song, like, right next to this one recently. I don't know if that's on this playlist, off the top of my head. Also, the Fugi's still trying to freaking render. I always forget that, like, the single days that I freaking have Teber with me. But everyone else is playing with bugs today, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of people here today. I'm also not really expecting a whole lot of raid targets. After stream. Because I don't really care to raid into Silk Song, I'm gonna be honest. It'll be like Hollow Knight, I won't freaking really, have any engagement with it until... I don't know, what's the ratio on time for that? I love how I'm going to be looking up Hollow Knight release, and I'm probably... Oh, I actually did get Hollow Knight's release. 2017? When did I play it? because I know it was at least a year ago. 2 years ago? I think I changed models partway through it. So it would have to be 2 years ago, right? I also really need to go to the archive channel and actually publish the videos. I haven't published any of the VODs since Edna and Harvey. This is Izakaya. Vampire the Masquerade. The VODs on this are... So, Hollow Knight's finale was... I could have probably easily actually checked if I had just looked at my Steam, to be honest. 2024. So that's a gap of what? 7 years? So that, by that logic, I won't be playing Silk Song until 2032. Hey Ray, how you doing tonight? Why are your Fumos scared of math? I was a little crybaby back on Tuesday. Even before the part, like, freaking... I was expected to cry. I cried like a bitch at one fucking line. I don't know how many times I cried during Little Reimu in the end. A lot. That's a good freaking marker for it, is a lot. Why would Yomu like math? Aside from division. I mean, that's multiplication. Also, that only shows up in... Why does that not show up in anything aside from... Did you just add that? No, that's been there for a while. Why is that not showing up in my, like, side chat box? Okay, because my freaking... There it goes. Because for some reason FFZ isn't in this window. What the fuck? But if I freaking have BTTV allow to show 7TV, I can see that. That's fucking weird, dude. What is this? This song. Oh, right, this. Oh. Tracking, please? I mean, the chat box isn't going to show it because it doesn't freaking... I don't think that, what's the word I'm looking for? Stream... Is it Stream Labs or Stream Elements that I use in order to keep track of my shit? Stream Labs, I think. I don't think that it detects that stuff. Then again, it does detect the emotes, so I don't know. Let me see if, I can adjust that. I don't think I'll get the color to change because it doesn't show up even in my freaking chat box or like my in OBS chat thing. But maybe I can get the animated emotes to actually show in the... It has all the emotes enabled, but I don't apparently have the option to... Font settings, message settings, chat delay... Message animations? No, not that. No, I apparently don't have the option to set it to... I don't have the option to view, or I don't have the option to set animated emotes to actually, you know, animate. me skip to this. But I don't know how long I'm going to run tonight. I also can't work on... I can't work on the art that I was working on yesterday on stream. Not over here. Because it is the variant... I mean, I use, like... I use the image that I'm animating as, like, my BRB. But the version that I'm doing might teeter into the area that Twitch gets mad. So I don't really want to... I don't want to test that. So the plan is probably just yap for a couple hours and then... I'll actually work on stuff off stream, because I've finished... As far as I know, I've finished everything. I might need to do a little bit of extra shading. And then I gotta... Then I just gotta animate it. I was tempted to do something a little more goofy with part of the animation on it, but I decided to behave myself. I want to go to this. But yeah, I freaking... I don't know, I didn't... I mean, I didn't really have anything planned this week overall, but I completely forgot that it was Silk Song Week. So I guess that it's kind of a good thing. I'm waiting for, like, 2 transfers currently. And then hopefully, I can skim around a bit for... parts. I don't know, I'm still kinda in a, in a spot where I don't know exactly what I want to do when it comes to parts. I'm still halfway of the mind of, I really just don't want to fucking have to deal with anything again for another 10 years. So I really just... want to save and go for broke. Because I don't at all want to have to touch this whole fiasco for ever again, honestly. I don't ever want to have to do with this again, but you know, parts do upgrade, so I do have to eventually. That's why I kind of want to just jump straight to the best I can grab. Even if it does mean that I have to deal with my current problems for longer. What were you doing that you got a heat rash? Or is it from when you were, is it just a late reaction to you being outside for, like, the entire weekend? Yeah, that checks out. Why do you need a prosthetic leg? I already have 2 prosthetic legs. You jealous or something? How in God's green earth? How do you, like, injure your leg so often? What do you mean? You haven't visited here ever? Appreciate you, Ray. Nothing slips by you. But it's the joke, Frosty. It's sex joke. I'm clip farming. I'm being a good VTuber and clip farming with sex joke. I was actually talking with someone, not me directly, but like I was in the chat of, and what do you mean you'll trade me VODs to go through? Oh, because you hate listening to your own voice? Sort of like everyone else hates listening to their own voice, which is why they start paying other people to... Yeah. I think Tepper's the only one that doesn't absolutely hate, skimming their own VODs. I don't know what their opinion is on their own voice, but they skip over that part and go, I don't have a problem skimming over my own VODs. I think I'm hilarious. I have the problem of skipping my own VODs because, A, I forget, when I do stuff, and then I get frustrated, and B, I have a lot of points where I realize that my brain doesn't register fast enough. So there's big gaps of quiet, and I get self-conscious about it. Even though I don't really advertise myself as, like, affiliate level. Constantly make noise, constantly got a stim chat. You know. Pay attention, chat. Pay attention. Alright. For the content, I'll do a backflip. I don't know how you register back on this. What do you mean, don't do that? It wasn't directly at you, it was just kind of a... Honestly, if anything, it was probably more toward Frosty. Because I know that Frosty's clicker trained. It's like if Sachi's around, I know that he's clicker trained. Thanks to Guesty. Granted, I haven't talked to Sachi in a while. It's been actual months, I think. Let me see if I can figure out. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the only person that I know that's not... I mean, aside from Tebber. Tebber, I have my doubts that Tebber would have any reason to be clicker trained. Also, I would like to point out that I really, really, really hate how Discord has changed things yet again. Just leave me the X so I can get rid of DMs when I'm not using them. Don't give me that bullshit of hide DM for now. If I want to ban or block or ignore someone, I'll just right-click them and fucking do it. Your messages auto-delete on Discord? What? How many messages do you have? speaking of group chats, freaking... Once the summer is actually properly gone and I don't freaking have instances like earlier this week where I just suddenly had 3 days in a row where I was dying again. We should hang out in VRC again, get Theta in on it and whatnot. Especially considering I freaking got killed by heat the one day that the three of us were going to all do it. And didn't wake up until, like, I think 8 o'clock that night or something like that. You guys were done with VRC by the time I woke up. That's all I remember. I've had a lot of people that have been asking about VRC left, right, and center. I say a lot of people. Kraka has been asking about VRC a lot recently. I mean, I have other people that are in VRC that kind of have a passive open invite, but, like, Crack has been actively. You don't know Kraka? Oh, that's right. Because she normally starts before I do and ends before I do, so I don't really raid her all that often. So you might have run into her... Or did I raid her when you were away that day? Yes, I have, actually. I forgot that her anniversary gift is even in the version, even in the more safe for work version, is not safe for work. Because the sensitive bits are censored by a single feather. Yeah. I've been picking on her the past few of her streams because she's been doing VR chat streams and she's got a furry avatar. So I'll pop in, say furry, give a point emote, and then that's kind of just it. And then half the time I disappear because there's certain people I freaking don't want to deal with. Speaking of which, one of the servers that I left back around December finally got on people about their parasocialism. I didn't know that Targo DJ'd. I knew that he obviously does VR chat because I believe that's how you said you met him. Which, again, freaking small world. I met him obviously through art way back when, but like... Kinda fucking wild. I don't know if I'd label that as more wild than, Violet becoming friends with Tori just on a whim. Like 2 years after I left her server because of certain individuals being too parasocial. But it is safe for Blue Twitch. Yeah, Blue Twitch takes a little bit of setup. Yeah. I want to know what the heck it was, if they've changed things or what recently. Because, Melissa got, Lewis and Freckles to verify, because obviously you have to have, other people have to be verified if they show up on your stream over there, you know, because it's an age verification thing. And apparently it took, like, them 2 weeks to do it. I got mine verified overnight. Actually, it wasn't even overnight. I freaking threw mine in at 6 a.m. And by the time I woke up at, like, 4 p.m., it was done. So I don't know why it took them 2 weeks. Unless it was because, I mean, they were visiting Melissa at the time in Finland. Maybe it's because they were traveling at the time, so the server it went into had to then verify with the American server, because I think they're American. And then get sent back of, yes, that's all confirmed via the American side of things. Well, I guess Lewis his apparently was done in like 3 days or something like that. For some reason, Freckles specifically was 2 weeks, because they were visiting for 2 weeks. And hers only got verified just before they left, according to Melissa. So I don't know. But I didn't really have much issue with the verification on that. And it allows me to work on stuff that I can't work on over here and still stream it, so I A, have incentive to do it, and B, I can double dip on freaking, if it's like a commission or something. Unless it's a furry commission, in which case I can't do that anymore. Thanks, Visa. So I have to focus on that off stream. But I don't know how interesting it would have been for people to watch me freaking work on that on stream anyway. Because I had to learn a lot of shit for that. I think that I tallied up 4 different things that I was just blindly first time learning how to do. And there might have been more things, I just don't remember. I found it fun, though. Speaking of commissions, though, I don't know if I said this, because I think you were the one that suggested it, Frosty, for me to work on lists instead of go through the 18-step design process for a Nasu, Halloween outfit. But since I am going to do lists instead, I will be opening slots back up. And Christ knows that Teber, we're freaking... Who knows where we're at on that. They're waiting for them to get a skeb back that they're hoping will be a design that they like for their streetwear slash techwear slash blah 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 design before we continue. And then it's not even confirmed that that's gonna be something that they want. So that puts us back at square one in that case. We're just hoping that it comes out in a way, in something, in like a design that they like. But yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I've got the Call of the Mines again, which is partly why I'm working on the other Live 2D thing. For, like, the new starting soon screen on other site. Is, the word I'm looking for. How did I put it in Angor's? I'm chewing on leather to stave off my freaking addiction. Because at the end of the day, I am kind of just, like, duct tape and bubblegumming it. Because it doesn't need to be anything fancy. But I do want to... have something set up. I have the desire to work on shit. I'll be back. My stomach is unhappy. Alright. Crisis averted. And understandable. Oh, that awful. Oops, not that. I needed to get rid of my BRB. Ba 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 ba. Go to this. Well, I'm glad that I could help. Didn't you say that you were specifically procrastinating on an assignment, though? When's the assignment due? Tomorrow? I think these have too high of a water content. Freezing them did about the same as they did to the watermelon. Freaking. They're basically mush at this point. Yeah, but shouldn't you also, you know, have some actual sleep before a day of a test? What school has you take calculus 3 times? Especially considering calculus is in that region of only certain jobs really need that. Yeah, engineering makes sense. My high school didn't have calculus until, like, the year that I was able to take it. And they only added it because people kept complaining anytime that they would go to, like, college and whatnot. That they were being stopped because every college is like, we have, like, 3 people that still need calculus at this point. Why the fuck did you not learn calculus in high school? But yeah, I don't know. I only just barely passed my calculus because I refused to show my work. Because they were like, oh, we're not going to let you freaking put it on other paper. You have to fit all of your work for fucking calculus into the margin. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going to do work then. I can freaking do this shit mentally anyway. Fuck you. They're like, alright, we're giving you... You're going to be freaking teetering on the edge of failure then as a result. And I'm like, fine, whatever. I can do this shit. You can knock off a quarter of my points for not showing my work all you want. I have no idea what to expect for that, to be honest. I've never heard of a single-gender public school in my life. The only freaking, I guess to put a freaking bluntly, segregated schools are private over here. All public ones are basically required to be co-ed. Because they barely get enough money. If they're public, they barely get enough money to have one of them in the region, let alone two. And it's only made worse by the fact that literally no one that actually runs the fucking schools knows how to actually budget. So they'll have whatever their pet extracurricular is. Normally, like, basketball around here, and they'll be like, okay, everyone else, you're gonna have to figure it out yourselves. So we're out here living in the middle of nowhere, sharing, like, 24 families with, let's see here. Woodshop, agriculture, band, choir, theater, I feel like there was a sixth. How the fuck does someone have the PSI to piss and fill a water balloon? That seems like a good way to get a UTI. Or fuck up the muscles there at the very least. Oh, you have a sore dick because you jerked off 7 times in the past week? I do because I pissed into a water balloon and got the freaking... got backsplash. Been a while since someone's redeemed little guy. It's also been a while since we've had double Fumo go on. I just passed by Ronnie while I was doing this. Ba-doop. Wriggling nose? What do you mean? There's a bug in your nose? Yeah, I don't know how people manage to do that. I've thought about that since... I don't remember what the movie was called. But there was a movie where someone did the same thing. Where they pissed into a water balloon. And I have no fucking idea how anyone does that. Also, I'm guessing that... Wait a second, were you procrastinating because of Silk Song? I was going to say, I guess that you procrastinating on your work means that you also weren't... You're also one of, like, the only 5 of us that aren't doing Silk Song today. But... the procrastination might have been Silk Song caused. Oh, right, I remember. I saw your post on Blue Sky about that. You were replying to someone who did mention Silk Song. Poison? Was it Poison? I've sneezed hard enough to where my blood started flowing enough in my brain that I... Was it not a response? I don't know. Everything blends together on Blue Sky half the time anymore. Especially on days where everyone's talking about the same thing. I'm genetically immune to caffeine, actually, so... Did you, like, bite down on your lip when you were sneezing, or what the fuck happened there? The fuck happened? Was it in the middle of winter? Winter's the only time that I can think of that my lips get dry enough that that is even a possibility. But normally my nose is what starts bleeding because, I mean, everything's dry at that point. That's Archie. Oh, yeah, I guess it... what yours is 2 posts below Boysen's, so my brain registered it as a reply. I need to freaking chew through the rest of this zucchini that's in the bag, freaking... just today or something, because it might freaking flash rot like the watermelon did the other... once it got out of the, Mm-hmm. What is this? I'm not sure. Is this the one? Yes. It's like the only thing I'm not looking forward to in winter is just the need to freaking keep everything hydrated or die. Ironically, aside from myself. Because I'm not freaking sweating up a storm, so I don't have to constantly freaking have an IV running into my freaking nostrils in order to not fucking die. Six AM or PM? Shit, I'm not even asleep by 6 AM. And especially around winter, because then, you know, the tea's actually important. In the summer, it just doesn't happen half the time because, I mean, if it's if it's fucking 80 degrees at night, who wants to come back to warm tea, you know? Not something you really need. I miss Magikami. And I kind of wish that I had a way to actually, like, look up how the story continued or something. Because they were in the middle of a group of events that was, like, explaining a side storyline when it died in the US. I also lost all of my freaking character stories that I'd kind of just been letting sit around for ages to freaking read all at once. And theoretically now I could actually read through them all if I wanted to. You know, if I had access to them. On stream! Actually, I did freaking last minute read through an event on stream. Because it was like the last 3 hours before the event ended, so I had to cram. So I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was stalling while I was reading. Back before I became the massive yapper that freaking just yaps for 4 hours without a second thought. It's weird to think about how many games just kind of freaking got cut off on Ian because, Mistrain, I think Mistrain's by the same company, so I guess it isn't, like, unexpected, but still, it is a little sad. I think it was also in the middle of, I think it was also in the middle of an event. Actually, I think it was outright in the middle of an event when it died. It was. Not because the event was still going on, but because they stopped updating it, so the event never got its end marker. So the event was technically still going on when the server shut down. The middle mouse button on my mouse is dead, I think. Which sucks, because that's how I normally freaking open new tabs. Either that or the driver didn't freaking launch properly when it booted up. Always a possibility. I do kind of wonder what the average person is doing, like, that isn't doing bug tonight. I know that, I mean, ironically, still bug related, but I know that a few people were doing Helldivers last night because the ODST War Bond came out this week, I think, or the end of last week, something along those lines. I do kind of also wonder about a select few people and what they wound up doing as far as their inability to control their spending. As I talked about, you know, last Monday? Or is it this Monday? It might have been this Monday. But I know that some people freaking have no self-control, and it's kind of a problem, and they're especially when they're already having to ask for money relatively frequently. But hey, it's only $20. I mean, that's not much of anything, right? When $20 begets $20 more, and that begets freaking $50, and that next thing you know, you've spent $200. That's how cons get ya. That's a cute art piece. Oh, hey, look, another cute art piece. Oh, hey, look, another cute art piece. How did I spend $500? I've fallen victim to that one. I'm stupid. Was stupid. Still stupid, but not stupid in the same way. Yeah, the problem is that, A, the people that I'm talking about don't do it that way, and B, have zero money self-control. And then they complain about how they don't have money. Meanwhile going, oh, it's fine, I was so tired, I deserved that luxury. Hey, can I have money? Oh, but this con's going on right now. Instead of bills, do you mind if I spend it on this con instead? Like, I gave shit to one person who I left the server of earlier this year. I didn't give shit to them directly, but I left the server because they asked their freaking server, hey, can you guys give me $300 so I can go to this convention? Hey, do you mind giving me $300 more so that I can buy stuff at this convention? And, like, I left because they asked, like, they just kept asking their community for money so they could buy stuff. It's their community's decision if they're going to do that shit, and it's their fault. They're not freaking asking for it, saying, I'm going to go homeless if I freaking don't get this money, and then spending it on a con because they have zero self-control. They were at least honest about it. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the person that I'm referring to... Not the person that was asking their community for money to go to a con, like, they just outright freaking do whatever. But the person that I'm referring to that complained for 3 weeks about how they were going to go homeless, and then went silent for a week, and then came back and said, yep, I went to a con with the money that was supposed to go to bills. Oops. But that person was complaining, like, just a week ago that they didn't have any money. I mean, they were also saying, oh, I can't find any jobs. Okay, where are you looking? Oh, I'm just looking in the areas that I have my hobby in. Okay. Oh, but I got interviews, and I'm like, okay, how much are those paying? Oh, they're... they're unpaid work. They're... Okay, does it get your foot in the door for you to actually get paid work? No, they're indie games. So let me get this straight. You you're willing to... You're taking on, like, 6 different volunteer works. And I'm not even exaggerating. They had 6 at one time. That they had a deadline for, despite the fact they weren't getting paid. But you're complaining that you can't find work. Have you considered just, like part-timing or something? Or do... Like, you can do other things aside from just tossing out freaking, I only wanna toss my stuff in with exclusively my singular hobby. If I don't get a job via this, then I guess that I won't get one. By the way, can I have money, people on social media? Okay, thanks. I'm going to a convention now. I can understand, buying a gift. That's fine. Plus, you're part-timing it, so it is what it is, right? You're not freaking asking people on Twitter or Blue Sky to send you $500, and then instead of spending it on food or bills or anything, deciding that you're going to buy your mom a new TV or something. I have no idea how you reach the logic line that freaking goes... How do you have so little self-control that your brain doesn't even, like, activate that buffer of, hey, I got given this money for this purpose. Let me spend it on this other purpose instead. That's like if I took all the money that Desktop's given in an attempt for me to get this computer set up, and just decided, oh hey, there's that Juniper jacket that costs like $300. I could buy that instead. I don't even know if that's even still for sale, but I just remember that I saw the price on that and I said no. I think the Vichibon jackets were the same way. Freaking one of them was a decent design, but they were like $200, and I'm like, nope, not fucking doing that. Ba 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 ba. Mm-mm-mm. What is this? You want to listen to this one, kinda. But yeah, I don't know, dude. The six volunteer works really adds another layer when they're like constantly talking about how they don't have the energy to, you know, stream or work on other projects that they have going on or X, Y, or Z. That would actually get them some kind of income. Because they just decided to accept 6 different volunteer works that have deadlines. And I don't know where you find those kinds of people, but if you're asking for volunteer work, you cannot just fucking... If you are offering 0, you do not have the right to request a deadline. Or demand a deadline. Yeah, we need you to get this entire 76 frame animation done by the end of the week. Okay, how much am I getting paid? Oh, we're not paying you. Then fuck off. I only have so much of life. I'm not freaking going to run myself ragged getting a lot of work done in a very short time for 0 benefit to myself. If you want someone to... First of all, you still can't freaking deadline them, but if you want to get something done for free, then freaking get lucky with a raffle or something, dickhead. I think the worst part is that I have seen, like, that kind of thing happen as well. Someone won a raffle, and then because they didn't have, because they didn't receive their raffle prize in, like, less than a month, they're like, well, I'm gonna make a call-out post. And then they were surprised when everyone's like, alright, well, how much did you pay them for it? Pay. So you didn't... You're bitching about the fact that you didn't, in a week, get something you're getting for free? I don't know, dude. Some people are wild. I don't know. The internet's a weird place at times. People have a lack of even basic logic half the time. And then they'll get mad when you call out their lack of basic logic. They'll freaking make excuses of, like, freaking... Oh, but I looked in this many places and didn't get anything. Okay, what were you looking in? But they said that it had this this time limit on it, and it's like, okay. They also said the immediate next post that they got hospitalized. I don't know about you, but I've been to the hospital and I wasn't exactly the most productive while I was trying to recover. Freaking... I don't know. Actually... Let me pause this. We're about to hit ad break, so I'm going to hit that a little early and get a refill my drink. Here's the thing. Last I knew, most of the ad breaks currently are like... Actually, I don't know if you're being affected by it. In the US, most of the ad breaks are at like... Oops, not that. Most of the ad breaks are, like, only 90 seconds long, rather than the full 3 minutes. Because... like, half of US advertisers have left the site. Because Dan refuses to freaking punish people that are doing dumb shit. Ugh. My guts are not happy right now. Not like that freaking festering feeling in my stomach anymore like it was when I had to freaking take my first break and freaking run off, but oof. What in God's green earth? What the fuck's going on here? I think the funniest thing is that I could probably step away from Twitch and probably even YouTube. I could probably step away from like the 3 primary streaming services for like, I don't know, the next few days at least. Maybe even the next like week, depending on how long Silk Song is, and then come back like nothing happened. Actually, I do like this song. I'll keep that going. But I think that I could probably do that theoretically. I won't. Especially for like Tuesdays. But I could. I'll probably still be on other site though for tomorrow. FAFO Friday. Literal. I do want to get the new starting soon screen for over there done beforehand though. new quote-unquote. It's the same starting soon screen, it's just that I'm live 2Difying it. I could just take a couple break days, though, in general. Because I do have to do Cherno art piece, Coldy art piece, a Woo art piece. And I want to have all of them done before Tuesday, which means that I then have to think of something to do on Tuesday. Which we might watch through the sequel to Little Reimu. In that case. And hopefully not cry like a bitch this week. Or I might do a different Reimu-related thing. Maybe we start Reimu's, what is it called? Reimu's Awesome Holiday, which is very goofy and looks like a lot of fun, and I only watched a little bit of Nart playing that because I wanted to play through it myself. And hopefully it's not so intense that I have to worry about, you know, PC breaking. Granted, PC broke yesterday while I was working on art, so... Granted, I also opened up like 6 different things that are massive files because I was showing off a bunch of different model files. I opened up the base of this model, or the base model for this that I recently like actually made a proper base of. I opened up the character sheet, which the big character sheet is the same height as the model sheet that I use, which model sheets are... Actually, I can just look it up and freaking... Give me one moment here. I don't really want to listen to this right now. Go to this. Open a new window. OCs, models and assets. Nasu 3. So a model sheet is 55,000 by 5,500 by 7,900. The outfit ideas one is also freaking massive because it's double a freaking character sheet effectively then. I do have to go over to the standard Nasu. Yeah. 18,000 by 7,900 for a character sheet. And then I opened up the raw files for those too, so it had all the layers and whatnot. The amount of shit that was technically being kept track of by Clip Studio during that was absurd. It's honestly a miracle that Clip Studio wasn't what broke and that it was OBS. But OBS is always that freaking failsafe that Windows decides does not need to be going. I guess it's because if it doesn't have something saved, Clip Studio will force you to confirm if you want it to do it. So Windows goes for the path of least resistance, which is closing OBS even when it's live. I think that I don't know if OBS actually double checks. Like, makes you confirm if you're live while you're doing it. So I don't know. It's especially confusing because I up the priority on OBS so that it doesn't take the first brunt of lag when the CPU cooks up to over 100% like it is right now. So you'd figure that would also prioritize it not fucking die first. Skip those. But hopefully soon-ish, I get my transfers done. And if I get my transfers done, hopefully that gives me something to work with. I do need to yap around a bit with people. Maybe well, Bubblegum's like neck deep in Stardew currently, so I don't really want to bug her. I also want to get my bearings a little bit beforehand. Speaking of Bubblegum, I hope she's doing alright. It was supposed to be live Monday. But there's not been any real updates. I know that she has, like, some conditions, so I hope that she's doing alright. Yeah, normally would be live by now as well. Unless she would super late. There is a super late one that is about midnight when she goes live. I don't know, I just hope that she's doing alright. I need to set up, one of my things to where it connects to my alt account. Because I don't really have as much problem with, like, posting both sides of my stuff to Blue Sky, the same Blue Sky account. But I try to keep that separate on Twitter, not Twitch. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna freaking just bluntly say on Twitch, but, like, I try to keep, the two sides on Twitter, themselves. Aside from the single time that I mentioned on Twitter that the other account does exist when I originally made it. I've actually found out that a few people that, like, I'm in the vague circles of are in both areas. Socks is apparently also... Which Socks I know via, Boysen. There's been a few other people that are, like, artists that I freaking come across over there. Which, honestly, based off of how Patreon's been handling its stuff, and Subscribestar is now freaking... I don't know if they're hosted in either EU or UK, or what? But... they do tend to, but they have apparently started making it to where everyone has to freaking ID verify. Which means that if I do ever dust off my old Subscribestar, apparently I would probably have to do that. Which means that I would not, because I'm not freaking... I don't want to hand my freaking identification to a company that it doesn't matter for. I'll just freaking remove all the Subscribestar stuff from everything. Subscribestar I lost track of a while back and never actually uploaded anything to it. Because I made it, like, right before I entered my massive art block that only got stopped by me becoming a VTuber. But I did enter a thing on the Blisky. Similar to Art Fight, which I did mention. I mean, those that freaking follow me over there know what it is. It might lead to me doing more other site streams because it'll be art that I can't do over here. But it'll give me a reason to play around with, like, learning more stuff and whatnot. I just, in general, want to, like, pick up more art, to be honest. The problem is that a lot of studying and whatnot requires you to study with, how do I put this bluntly? Study with the unclothed form, so you can actually, like, point out muscle groups and whatnot. So obviously, doing studies over here can tend to be a bit rough. And I even get afraid sometimes, like when I was doing the one study the other month at this point. Like, it was fully clothed, but I was afraid that freaking while I was doing, like, the basic shapes, Twitch was just gonna be angry and be like, sorry. Not sorry, actually. Fuck you. Go take your not safe workism somewhere else. Meanwhile, fully clothed individual on screen once the entire thing's done. Even when the basic shapes were going on, there was no... There was no real angle where it was freaking not safe for work. It was about the same level as the freaking... some of the art pieces in the slideshow and whatnot. But I don't know, Twitch is in a weird spot on that sometimes. And I try to avoid, like, talking about, like, the comparison kind of deals. Some of the stuff that happens. Fucking... That reminds me of what we were talking about, in the chat that I was talking about earlier. I didn't actually completely talk about that while I was on that subject. But, the artist was like, oh, I don't want to be, like, marked as a lewd tuber, but everyone on, like, TikTok and YouTube Shorts always thinks that because I've made lewd jokes, so clearly I'm a lewd tuber. I'm basically Project Melody because I said penis once. I think the weirdest thing is that, like, freaking Melody, my brain doesn't register as a lewd tuber despite the fact that she is, like, the original lewd tuber and very much still does that kind of content. Because 90% of, like, any interaction, she is the goofiest freaking individual around. And despite the fact that she's very knowledgeable, like, the way that she freaking carries herself, it's... very funny. More than my brain registers. Oh yeah, this is the person that, you know, introduced the lewd tuber genre. But the person I was watching last night or this morning was talking about how she constantly gets like labeled as a lewd tuber because she talks about it occasionally. And she is like friends with lewd tubers, but you know, it's in a similar spot to me. Sure, I draw some stuff similar to that, but it's not like my brand or anything. She's even less down the freaking hole than I am because she doesn't even have an account on Blue Twitch, as far as I know. But she was talking about that, and at one point, back to the reason that I tangented back off to this, at some point during that discussion, the topic came up of, like, people liking feet or something like that, and being like, oh yeah, surely someone's, like, in Twitch staff or something really likes the feet or something. And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking Dan himself. My guy showed off his following list before. I ain't gonna like, I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna judge. Aside from, you know, when he specifically tries to wag his finger and point and say, you can't do this, VTubers. To be fair, as far as I know, the colonoscopy flesh tuber is not on his following list. I mean, those are like him going through his freaking following list and the colonoscopy incident are months apart, and both of these are like a year old plus at this point, but still. Are they a year? How long has Mega had her current model? Blah blah blah. No. Yes. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Oh, might have found it. And I'm not gonna show it because, I mean, she got banned for the clip, so I know that Twitch is going to bonk me if I freaking look at it. If this is the one of her freaking wiggling and talking about the educational thing or whatever. Okay, this isn't. This is after the freaking update. But that's October 30th is after the update was, so that was like 3 days or a week or something afterward. So, yeah, it was about a year ago. Because I know that was the incident where people were talking specifically about the colonoscopy flesh tuber. Which is the only way I can refer to them, because I don't remember their name, I just remember the freaking camera that was, like, literally pressed up against the glass chair that they were sitting on. That people kept freaking putting in the comments of, talking about the ban. Hey, who knows where it's all sitting at right now. Ba -ba -ba. Actually, I'll skip to this once we are... I do like this song. That'll be the next one lined up. But I did find that whole situation more than a little funny. I mean, the other clips that were being shown were around that time were Dan showing off who all he was following, which... There's a reason why people say that he has a bias. We need to play Lisa at some point. I have... had. I don't know if it's on this drive. I had the first, which I'm kind of questioning if... Is the first safe for Twitch? Topically, I don't know if it is. I don't think it shows anything, so it might be fine. And then everyone's played the Painful, and, whatever the DLC is called, but I don't remember off the top of my head. The Joyful? Is it Joyful? But yeah, I don't know what goes on up above half the time. There's a reason why I multi-stream. And it sure as hell ain't because... It sure as hell ain't because it freaking is easy on my computer. I wasn't paying attention to how long that was. My foot has almost healed from my stupidity a couple weeks ago, so hopefully I can start going on my walks again. The spot's still scabbed, but freaking... It's no longer, actually painful to walk around on. I just gotta, you know, be smart and actually fucking wear socks. You know, just be smart about things, which I'm not. I'm never smart. Not the first time around, anyway. Shout out to the 360 squats in one night. Freaking deciding on a whim to freaking double my laps. Leading to me freaking... fucking up my foot. What else is there that I freaking have been stupid first time through on? Not changing over the file format for OBS recordings. So, recording just killed off the freaking... whatever you want to call it. The countless number of times that I have forgotten to unmute myself after OBS crashes and I come back. What else do we got? What else do we got? Oh, I mean, my first time freaking making a model. Forgetting that things were going to move, and then, you know, not taking that into account, and doing all the drawing like it was a, you know, standard drawing. Especially for the hair, so... Old Scuff model has, gaps in the head. What else we got? Things that aren't associated with a curse, I suppose. I don't blame myself for my first ever, like, motherboard being busted, because that's 90% the fault of, well, the motherboard being dead. I only later found out that it was a curse that I had, where first motherboard is always dead. As is evidence from this past incident where I freaking... motherboard arrived dead. I really shouldn't have sent the motherboard through Throne. Or gotten the motherboard sent through Throne, I should, I guess, specify. I completely forgot that I was going to skip down here. But yeah, I'm always making dumb decisions first time through and then having to fix it. I love how I'm going to have to wait until Monday for this refund. I'm enabled for faster withdrawals, but sorry, you happened to get your stuff done after a holiday. Ignore the fact that it's our fault because everything was turned in a week ago. So you gotta wait until Sunday. Which means I have to wait until Monday because it's a bank thing. Fuck off, dude. I've basically dropped myself to a state where... I mean, I still get irritated about it, obviously, because, again, this is something that was supposed to be done, like, all said and done. Back... I mean, the original plan was that it was supposed to be done by February. Then... Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Then we were supposed to have it done by June. Or May. May. Obviously got stolen. I got told, oh yeah, I'm sure everything will be put together by June. By the end of June. Here we are in September. At this point, I've just given myself to the point where I'm saying, as long as X thing happens before December, it's a victory. I'm still getting pissed about things taking longer than they should, but, like... even minor things like, oh yeah, if I get a confirmation that I can return this item by December. Okay, if I get paid back for returning the item by December. If I get my fucking money by December. Yeah, it's just... It's the only way I can keep my fucking sanity. Is by saying, if this basic thing happens by December, surely it's fine. I am a broken individual. Yeah, barely. I'm actually kind of surprised you're still awake. Like, even on days that you have off, normally you're asleep much earlier than this. Fair enough. I mean, depending on how late you're probably going to stay up, we could theoretically do some Schedule 1 tonight, then. I'm probably going to end here in the next few minutes anyway. Because we're at about midnight, and I really, really want some actual food beyond just a little bit of zucchini. Speaking of which, who is there to actually freaking raid into? I'm actually kind of surprised. Three people so far? Four people? Five people? Normally, like, when there's a game that's going like this, I freaking... It's like every other person is. 6 people? A lot of Story of Seasons, actually. Is that new or something? 7 people? Eight people? Egg's doing Void Stranger. 9 people. 10. 11. Even though that doesn't look like Silk Song. 12. Yeah, there's actually, surprising number of people that aren't. I think I know who I'm going to raid into. Did I pass by? Steph's doing some, Cult of the Lamb. They are chill and acquaintance, and on both sites. So, Seth normally is streaming at hours that I'm asleep, so I figure I'll take this opportunity to raid into him. I think that they go... Do they go by they, them, or... Yeah, they go by they, them. So I was correct. Alright. Let's pop that. That's gonna be it for me tonight. I don't have any real announcements. I don't know what time we'll be streaming tomorrow. It's probably gonna be on another site because FAFO Friday. And I want to work on art that I can't stream over here. If you want to know when I'm going live and where I'm going live at any given time, though, you can check out the socials. You can join the Discord, follow me on Blue Sky, or follow me on Twitter in order to keep doing things such as when I go live, what I'm going live with, and art like you see in the corner. You can also check out my card, which has all my commission info and all my other sites that I'm active on. Active asterisk, considering some of them. And yeah. Damn! Behave yourselves, you know the rules. You make a fool out of me or out of yourselves, then won't deal with you. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the follows, raids, all that good jazz, and I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. If not, then maybe Saturday. Love y'all. Bye!